Welcome everybody, it is Claudia and this is Patchwork with Claudia. In today's tutorial we are working on the maple leaf block. To make this block we will need 1 square of 4.5 inches color A, 3 squares of 4.5 inches color B, 3 squares of 5 inches color A to make these sections, 2 squares of 5 inches color B to continue assembling these sections, and finally 1 rectangle of 1 inch by 7 inches to make this stem. So let's see it. I have here set up all my pieces, so we begin making the half square triangle section. We draw a line, a diagonal line in the middle of the square, and then a 1/4 inch on both sides, on each side of the square, we draw another line. You will sew on those lines, on the lines the outside, and then you will cut on the middle line. So after we have that, we set up this section. So we align the dark fabric with the light fabric. We align that one that very smoothly, and then we sew on these lines. We align the other 2 squares, and then we begin sewing. So here we start sewing. So I already sew here, you can see better from this side, and then we will press and cut in the middle line, and we do the same with the other 2 squares. Now let us work on the stem section. So with the last 5.5 inch block for the light fabric, we draw a line diagonally, then we are going to align the rectangle on the line that we just draw. We can help ourselves with some pins. I will do. And then from here, that is the line that we can still see, we are going to sew a 1/4 inch. So now we are going to have this. So the next step is cut here. Separate these 2 parts. I make space and move my pieces over there in order to cut this one. So this is what we are going to have. Now we press here and then we join these two parts, aligning this very well and join them 1/4 inch. I already pressed this section and now it's time to join the other triangle to make the stem. So let's align the fabrics and sew them 1/4 inch. Here I already have my stem section. Now I'm going to press it. All my pieces are set up. The next step is that we are going to work on these sections. We are going to trim all of them because all of them need to measure 4.5 inches. So let's remove these fabrics and start working on it. So the first piece that I'm going to work with is the stem section. So I'm going to help myself with this ruler, set up this here, and I'm going to trim this to be 4.5 inches everywhere. So I remove this. I remove these pieces and then turn around and go from there. So let's mark that is 4.5 inches everywhere, and now we can finish trimming this block. One more. Now I'm going to do the same with these other 4 blocks. I'm going to check and remove the little piece to make them 4.5 inches. Turn around and do the same. This piece didn't go well. Okay, now I have this one that is 4.5 inches and this one that is 4.5 inches. We need to do the same with the other 3 pieces. The maple leaf block is set up, so now it's time to start sewing the pieces. First, we are going to sew the blocks to form 3 rows. So we are going to sew here, 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 finally here and here. After that, we press the fabric and then we join the block here and here. So let's start sewing again. Let's start joining the first row. As always, we sew 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now we continue putting together these 2 pieces from the second row. Finally, we continue working with the third row. Now we join the last section on the first row. We align our fabrics. Let's continue working with the second row. And finally, we are going to sew the last section in our third row. Let's set up it again. So we can see here a little bit. Now we are going to press the seam allowance and join these two. I already pressed the block, so it's easier to visualize it. Now we are going to join first here and then here. So let's start organizing and aligning our seams, especially on these corners from the prior seams. So I will help myself with pins here and also here. And I will join them a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I will join these two parts. Verify that the fabric is aligned. here I have my block. We need to press the seams one more time and we are done. Here is the ending block, 12.5 inches. I hope you practice it. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, give me thumbs up, and see you next time here in Patchwork with Claudia. Bye.